So Austin,
Yes, Roger.
a really weird year, and with COVID and all the things happen, you've been very successful, and you've managed to keep working during COVID. Tell us about how that experience was.
Well, I wasn't able, Zoom, I've been teaching my class on Zoom, my HB Studio class, and there's some great advantages to teaching on Zoom. First of all, for example, two women did a scene for my class that I sent. One was in Los Angeles, one was in Madrid. So that kind of thing can happen on Zoom. And for some reason, Zoom works well with the scene study class. When I heard we were going to do Zoom, when the lockdown happened, I thought, oh my God, this is impossible. Immediately, there's some kind of weird immediacy that happens with Zoom. And we're going to keep doing it on Zoom, certainly into the spring.
Very good.
But I think HB is maybe is going to be cautious about that. I think they have some in-person classes there now, but they don't want to get too many people in there. And I'm very happy on Zoom, and the classes are full and they're great. But in terms of working as an actor, I was occasionally in a Zoom reading, but that's. But the first time I worked live in person in a play was just in Ohio. I went out to Ohio in the middle of August and came back the beginning of October. I was in the Neil Simon play called Broadway Bound. I played the grandfather who's a communist, a socialist, or whatever, which is a great role in, I think, his best play, and I'm a Neil Simon fan. And I think this is maybe the best one of them all.
How was that experience? I mean,
It was
to
when
go out there and
I
do this.
stayed with my brother and his wife, which was wonderful. And I got picked up every night to go to the show, and the rehearsals were also in the evenings. I get picked up and driven there, and it's about a little over a half-hour drive. It was at the Beck Art Center. And that was a great experience. That got me back. And then as soon as I got back here, the instant I got back here, went into rehearsal for this play I'm in now called The Dark Outside by Bernard Kops, Kops, an English writer. It's the world premiere of his play, even though he's English.
Here in New York.
Huh?
Here in New York?
Yeah, here in New York at Theater for the New City down on First Avenue.
Sure.
Between 9th and 10th, Philly.
How about writing and directing? Have you been doing a lot of that during COVID?
I'm appalled to say I didn't get any writing done.
Okay.
It seemed it would have been the perfect time. And I did, a lot of my friends who write got, of course, a lot of writing done during that. And I didn't. I fooled around with a new play I'm working on. And directing, I haven't really done any directing. I'm about to direct a play. Do you know the playwright Sarah Treem, Treem, two women, a mother and a daughter? The mother gave up the daughter for adoption at birth, and now the daughter, now 28, comes to confront her mother. It's really, it's a wonderful play. So we start rehearsing that in early December, like a couple of weeks after this play closes. And then all that leads up to that play called The Minutes, which, as I say, we almost got it open a year and a half ago, and now they have great hopes they'll be able to get it on. And it's a Broadway play by Tracy Letts. And so that's sort of what's coming up and what has just been.
Now, let's talk a little bit about Joe Beck's play.
Yeah.
Tell me how you got involved with that, and tell me a little bit about the play or a little bit about the character, whatever you choose.
Well, it's called Our Lady of Queens, so it's set in Queens. And I play the father of one of the characters, and I live in Queens. I'm involved in a restaurant. I don't know why Joe ever thought of me for it, but of course then I'm drawn to that.
Okay.
I don't know why he wants me in that part, but I'm more. It's a wonderful play. It's so juicy. You can see the juice flowing out of it.
Well, as a director and as a playwright yourself, sometimes you do envision someone in a role who does not envision themselves in the role. So I guess in all fairness, following your philosophy, it's good to kind of go with the flow and see what happens, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just go with the flow. Yeah.
Just go with the flow. I love
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Are you reclaiming or, reattaching yourself to a lot of those old projects, or were you,
Yeah, I mean, there weren't that many, but yeah.
do you see yourself as a primarily New York actor, or, are you still open to taking jobs and roles outside of New York, even outside the
Well,
country?
there was the one in Ohio just now.
That one, yes.
Yeah, and so I'll go to Los Angeles to make a movie or whatever, or if it's being filmed in I mean, I'll go wherever it's being filmed. I much prefer working in New York for obvious reason because I live here and I love the town, you know. But no, sort of as an actor and as a director, you have to stay open to whatever comes along.
Now, as far as Joe Beck's play,
Yes.
Our Lady of Queens, right?
Yes.
How do you research a role like that? How do you dive into it? Are you going to
You
spend
just,
2 weeks in
I've
Queens?
found
or-
about research, because I've done a lot of plays that require research. You have to just stick to the script. If you start to do a whole lot of research outside the script about things that are mentioned in the script, you're going to start imposing things on it from what you've learned from outside it onto the script, and the performance or your direction of the piece will get very heady and intellectualized. But if all the research you do is you just keep plumbing the script, and that's what I found about research.
I hear a rumor that you're very good with learning your lines.
I am good.
What's the secret to that?
I have no idea.
It just happens.
What I try to do, and often you're not able to do this with a TV show or a movie, but like with Broadway Bound, and now with the play, I mean now The Dark Outside, I started learning months in advance. When I was in Ohio, I devoted all my energy to learning Broadway Bound. I started learning it 2-3 months before. And then, as soon as Broadway Bound opened, I had that under my belt. I began working on the lines for this.
Do you have a favorite role
That I've already played?
that you've already played that you keep going back to, or maybe wishing you could play it again?
Hamlet, I did.
Absolutely.
I
right?
did it in an attic somewhere, but it was well received. And then I would love to do it again. And I just read that Ian McKellen did it at the age of 82, which is a year older than I am now. So I've dropped subtle hints.
This is one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like I want to do it again.
This is one.
That's a subtle hint, yeah. See, I love the texture of Joe's play. I love the world he creates. It feels very real. It feels very juicy. It feels very lived in. I have no idea what its autobiographical content is or not. I've never asked him. But it has a juicy texture. I don't know quite else how to put it.
Now, when you say juicy, you mean juicy in terms of the characters?
Texture and flavor.
Of the whole.
Yeah, the world of it seems very alive and real and fun and dramatic and I can't wait to do it. Well, he's a great guy. If he came now and sat down, you would immediately like him. I think I knew his work, but this was the one that he wanted me to do. And again, the casting is a little off center. I don't know why it's important to him that I'm in it, but I don't ask questions, you know. I've learned how to not say, why did you cast me in this? You know, take it as it comes, you know.
And enjoy it.
Yeah, and but it has a very rich life to it. It just feels like it's lived in. I can't wait to be in it.
Wonderful. Talk about Elizabeth for a second.
Oh, she's a dynamite director. When we did what we've done before with the plays, we've done readings of it, and then I think we did a stage reading out on Long Island that we rehearsed like for a week. I mean, it was staged, and we had the scripts in our hands, but it was sort of hoped that we didn't have to look at them very much, and we didn't really. And it would just comes to life. The audience was it was a full house, and they were Long Island people, and it was they were very intelligently into it. It was like, it's one of those places about a very particular world, but everybody who sees it thinks it's about their people, even when it's obviously not.
Mm-hmm.
It has that. It's like, in that way, it's like Fiddler on the Roof. You don't have to be Jewish to respond very, very deeply to it.
Mm-hmm.
I know I was in that one for a year. This play, Our Lady of Queens, has the capacity to pull people into it, even if it's not about, quote, their people,
Mm-hmm.
unquote, which is all the great works that have universality. They all have that in common. Yeah.
Well, Austin, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the interview, and that's it. Nice to see you again.
You too, Roger.